Welcome back from the break. Viewers, the program is Africa Today right here on NBC, your number one African TV station, 43.2. Before the break, we were talking about Boko Haram in Nigeria. And I said when we come back, we will spend more time talking about it. Now, two groups. Movement for Emancipation of the Niger Delta. That's one. They are threatening to attack mosques and Islamic institutions in defense of Christianity. Now, MEND is one of, is one of Nigeria's foremost collection of terror gangs united by a struggle to control the region's oil wealth. So they are standing up for to protect the oil, the wealth over there. Now, ECWA it rejects amnesty for Boko Haram. Remember, ECWA is the Evangelical Church Winning All. They are saying, they had a meeting recently and saying that the group doesn't deserve amnesty. Now, from what you've said so far, the group split into two. One side is not admitting to anything. So are you giving amnesty to the side that is saying, I don't see what the big deal is, we've not done anything wrong? And the other side are saying, okay, we will sit down and talk to you about it and see if we can lay down the arms. So which side are you going to give amnesty to? MEND is going to retaliate, and I don't know whether that will do any good or more harm. You think it's a good thing?
Let me say this. In South Africa, post-apartheid, one of the things that they did, and in many countries actually do this, they constituted a Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Yep, we all remember
and
that.
The goal of that was reconciliatory. What they wanted to do was to invite individuals, sort of victims of the system, to come out and to talk about the things they went through. That is a purgatory kind of
and it helped,
process.
It helped.
It does. And two, those who were instrumental in perpetuating those atrocities actually came out to confess. And you know what? They asked for forgiveness and they were forgiven. The problem with this amnesty issue in Nigeria is that this is not going to happen. Now, the reason why a lot of Nigerians are actually supporting the move is because they are terrified.
They want peace.
That's not peace. Peace in fear is not peace. They are terrified that this is going to go on. So give them amnesty so that we'll have our peace. That is not peace that they're going to enjoy. I am going to say this. The Nigerian government is setting sort of a very bad precedent by doing this. If this goes ahead, let me tell you this. The president actually constituted a 25-member committee. One person has already resigned.
Down to 24.
You know who has resigned? A human rights lawyer. The basis of the resignation was because of that. The abuses that were conducted will not be ameliorated by, what do I say, an amnesty, which will come on a cheap or in a cheap way, or maybe on just on a silver platter. I think that other processes need to be looked at. One, the group doesn't just have to be faceless before they go into this. The group needs to own up to what it has done before this whole amnesty issue will come up. And I think it's important for because one, if this happens, other groups that you've mentioned will also pick up arms and do worse things in Nigeria. So I began by saying that it's a very complicated issue, so they have to look at this in a more holistic manner, not just going ahead to give amnesty to Boko Haram.
Funsho, can we involve the ex-presidents?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, a number of them are.
See how they can contribute and bring in. I said peace. Godwin is saying the peace and fear is not going to happen.
Yeah. To achieve peace, a lot of the time you have to go to war. You can't achieve peace without war. A lot of the times. So I agree with what he's saying. But the truth again is, when you look at MEND is not maybe that slippery. It's not a terrorist group. It's a militant group. And they have a purpose. They come out, they address the media. Yeah. We know who they are.
Right.
You understand? So it's different from Boko Haram. But again, when you look at the issue of amnesty, believe you me, I believe that for life to become normal again, we have to find a solution to Boko Haram.
And
I
solution is
believe
not amnesty.
The solution is not amnesty.
okay, but
Let's
what you haven't told me or us is the option we have if we don't have
So
to
right
do
now, you
amnesty.
believe
But
that
let me-
amnesty is the only option that we have on the table right now?
I'm not saying it's the only option. One option is to go to war. One option is to go to war. Everybody is going to suffer. Nobody, no country in the world can survive 2 civil wars. Nigeria suffered its first civil war in the 60s into the early 70s. That's the southeastern region of Nigeria is still suffering from that
we don't
war
want-
today.
we don't
and we
want
don't
that.
want another
I
war.
agree.
So that's number one. So it's one
So what
of
else
two
is
evils.
left? What else is left?
What
to-
is left, in my opinion, let me explain this. Number one, you did say something. The only thing you said that I don't agree with is that the rest of the country are rooting for amnesty because they are afraid that it's going to spill, it's going to bring terror to their. No. This terror, for instance, the Boko Haram stuff, is just been in the north. It's not come to. Indeed, men that you're talking about is just one of about 20 militant groups in the south. The Yorubas, that is the south, where they have their own. It's called OPC, Oodua People's Congress. The Igbos have their own. The South has its own. So we are ready for anything. As a matter of fact, let me tell you this. If it comes to facing the Boko Haram, OPC alone is enough. We are going to deal with them in a way that they will never ever forget.
But then
but
we don't
what
know
do we get
who
out of
they
that?
are. Do we
We
know
do
who they
know.
are?
We know.
Okay,
That's
remember I
because you
also
and I are-
asked you, Funsho, that
Yeah.
Nigeria, we have a lot of ex-presidents still available. Is there any way we can involve them
Who?
to sit down, the ex-presidents, sit down, talk with these Boko Haram people, if we do know who they are? I don't know.
Let me tell you something.
And will they be able to, will
let's
they be
put it
able
this
to
way.
help?
The way I think this is going to work, if we're talking of amnesty, if Nigeria agrees they're going to give amnesty, number one, nobody is going to be on the committee and agree to give amnesty to people that are not going to sit on the table with them. And so whoever is coming out to beg the president or the government to give amnesty is going to be representing them. And I tell you, from all info that we have, a number of these ex-presidents are a part of Boko Haram. And to start with, when did
Do
they?
you have
when-
you have any ground?
it's in
on
the
that?
media.
But I'm so surprised for
It's in the media.
No, I'm so surprised at the line of argument here. Let me tell you this.
Wait.
How
So
do you,
it means
how do
you're
you-
going to
how
who
do
are
you
you going
how-
to sit down
How
with,
do you
really?
reward a group for killing people?
No.
That
Not
is what's
rewarding.
going on.
Not rewarding. Let me tell
You
you.
think the amnesty is a reward
It's
in
a
some
reward
form?
for everyone that is killing people.
No. You see, when you're talking of the word amnesty means that you are giving pardon to whoever that amnesty is being extended to.
Not
And-
just
and
that
in-
though.
And in this situation,
For someone who has acknowledged that they've done some wrong.
I know. But when you say pardon, that means the person is acknowledging and he's saying, "Please
I'm
pardon
sorry.
me. I'm not going to do
I'm
it
sorry,
again."
I'm not doing it again.
You understand? And there are going to be conditions. You understand? So what I'm saying is this: the only ground by which I will not support amnesty is when they remain elusive, unknown, and they are not ready to come to the table. But this group, the group that are
Which group?
The group that is coming to the table are the northern elders.
Okay.
Look, okay, if I say I want to represent
for sure.
them,
I
want to
understand
represent
that.
Boko Haram,
I
and I
under-
come to the table with you, the question you're going to ask me is, who are your members?
Okay, I understand
Can I
that.
make-
That's
can I make
good.
a point?
Before you come in, that is the group from the north. You're saying,
From the
but what
north.
about the other group that are
What
not
other
coming
groups?
coming out to say,
What are
okay,
that groups?
And I was
There
going
is
to
only one
there's-
group.
No, that was
There's-
what I was going
There
to
are only
talk about.
factions.
okay, the other faction also still part of Boko Haram.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to grant amnesty, I'm granting amnesty to the northern people
No, the northern
from the
people to
northern
Boko Haram.
to Boko Haram, but the one faction. What about the other faction too? They are still under the umbrella of Boko Haram. So
This
if
is
they
the
go,
way I think.
hold on, future, if they go out and do what, God forbid, kill more people, what are we going to do next?
What do you think amnesty is about? Do you think it is a blanket thing? We pardon you, go and do no more harm.
Remember,
It's not gonna be so.
remember
Let
a
me
couple of
explain to
months
you.
ago, didn't they go to the table Instead of they were laying down nothing, they went back killing people again.
That was,
so what change or what difference is amnesty going to bring?
Yeah,
hold on to. They don't.
In all fairness, though, they didn't go to the table.
Exactly.
In November, they actually wanted to lay down there, but it never did.
It never happened.
Yeah. But I mean, you're going to make you do that, and then I'll come up with my submissions. Yeah.
Okay, I was just going to say that in any agreement or in any decision making, you could be having what we call it's just like we talk about covenants in the Bible. It's the same thing as laws. Law could be a by agreement. It could be a loan agreement. In other words, for instance, the one you try to describe is one that the Boko Haram decided on their own. On their own. But what we're talking about, when we're talking of amnesty, it simply means that there are going to be two sides on the table. And you're going to admit to what you've done wrong, or we're going to accuse you of so and so, and you're going to admit that you did wrong, and then you're going to give a promise that you're not going to do it, not just verbal.
Right.
Because these people, we're talking of top northern politicians. They are the ones coming out now, and therefore they're going to represent that group. And you see, the way I believe it's going to work is, when it is laid out, the condition will be given. That fraction that we are talking about, that faction that is saying
that side of the agreement.
Yeah, what we know is Boko Haram. We don't know of faction. So the one that comes out is the one we're going to hold responsible. And if, for instance, the amnesty is granted, and they will blow any of the agreement, the rust that is going to go on them. And you see, don't forget two things. Let me just say two things, and I'm going to leave this. Number one, the fact that amnesty is coming to the table is because the northern leaders are begging on their knees for it. We just heard about the fact that a group of these northern elders and the PDP, the ruling party's board of trustees, went to Ota to meet the ex-president. That's not an ordinary thing. President Obasanjo, okay. That's not ordinary. That's not ordinary.
Why are they begging? Why are they asking
No, they want
now?
peace because they know with that kind of figure. Let me explain something to you about Obasanjo. Obasanjo is one Nigerian leader who has a major, a young unmarried major. Just like you have AU today, went on behalf of the Nigerian military to the Congo to fight a war. The understanding is from that point on, this gentleman, as rugged as he was, as ordinary as he was, still is, was a strength in that military and in that war. He was picked up from that point. And I tell you something, when Obasanjo coughs in Ota, Nigeria shakes, irrespective of what people say.
So
and then when he takes a position, I guarantee you, the West is behind him.
He gets things done.
The West is behind him.
He gets things done. That's what you say.
And don't forget that he gets things done, and it's not just, he doesn't talk empty words.
Okay.
But more than anything, last thing, more than anything else, the reason the northern people, the northern leaders are wanting amnesty, I guarantee you, is because they know what is going to happen between now and 2015. 2015 is another election year. And Boko Haram is going to be rooted out, whether they like it or not. The innocent will go with it. They don't want that. And some of them are scared because, you see, like we are saying, we really don't know. Me and you do not know the faces. We have seen a lot of stuff in the media. Okay. But then, those who know, know.
We will watch that story. Coming quickly, you have something to say before we move on to...
Let me say that I think Funcho kept on talking about the northern issue. But the point is that it's still one group, two factions. So even if the amnesty goes through, there's a faction that still doesn't want amnesty that will still cause problems. And that is my point.
And they're not going to last.
Granted that they want to give amnesty, you can only give amnesty to a united front. You can't give amnesty to a divided group. That is my point. You mentioned the issue of a former president or a leader. For me, that is the most needless activity that they want to undertake. Especially when you're engaging a terrorist group, it doesn't make sense.
No. You don't get it.
No, I do get it. I mean, I do get it. What I'm saying is that you don't use some of these personalities to engage in the faceless terrorist group.
Okay, why not?
It's not necessary.
Why?
Let me tell you this. To start with, Nigerian government has actually started from the point of defeat already. So, Funjo made a point about the fact that by 2015, the Boko Haram group will be flashed out and all that. This is a group that has been dominant and the military has not been able to do anything. So why are they all of a sudden going to be able to be flashed out? I see some political elements over here, but then the other point that I see,
right now,
as I've said, it is a very bad precedent. There are other options than.
So they are set.
Give us those other options.
I can give you options.
Yeah.
I can give you options. One, amnesty. Even if you consider the issue of amnesty, before they do that, the group itself needs to come out and admit they are wrong.
That's
number one. That's my point. That's number one.
Right?
Number two, beyond the amnesty issue, the military in Nigeria needs to do a better job of facing up to this group and trying to give confidence to the Nigerian people that as a military we can do something to protect you. That's not what they've done.
All right, so that on that note, we're taking a short break. We'll be right back with more news about Archbishop Desmond Tutu. We'll be right back.